In the modern world, the name Steve Jobs immediately brings to mind the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook, products that have transformed how people live, work, and connect. Jobs is celebrated as a creative genius, a visionary leader, and a cultural icon. The image of him in a black turtleneck and jeans, standing on stage to unveil a new product, is etched into the minds of millions. Yet, behind that spotlight of success lies a life full of bitter failures and moments of rock bottom. Few know that there was a time when he was ousted from the very company he founded, a period of crisis and disorientation. What made Jobs different wasn't that he never failed, but that he rose from his failures, turning a fall into a stepping stone to go further. His story is proof that failure isn't the end. It can be the beginning of a new journey, if you are brave enough to continue. In the early 1970s, America was in the midst of a technology boom. In small garages, young computer enthusiasts tirelessly assembled circuit boards and plugged in chips. It was in this environment that Steve Jobs, a college dropout with a burning desire to change the world, met Steve Wozniak, a technical genius. They started from zero, with no money or reputation. All they had was a cramped garage at Jobs' parents' house. But it was in this seemingly ordinary place that great ideas were conceived. The Apple I was born, the first personal computer they designed and sold themselves. Its success paved the way for the Apple II, a product that helped Apple become a globally recognized technology company. Jobs stood out with his distinct vision. He didn't just want to make computers for calculations. He wanted to turn them into creative tools that were user-friendly and intuitive. For him, technology was more than cold code and chips. It had to be combined with art and touch the user's emotions. In its early years, Apple flourished. The small garage company quickly grew into a publicly traded enterprise worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Jobs became a millionaire in his early 20s. The peak of success often comes with great challenges. In the 1980s, Apple continued to grow, but internal conflicts within the leadership team began to emerge. Jobs, with his perfectionist and fiery personality, frequently clashed with his colleagues. He set standards that were too high, at times so strict that they made his coworkers uncomfortable. The climax came in 1985 when, following conflicts with CEO John Sculley and the board of directors, Steve Jobs was forced to leave the company he had founded. It was an unimaginable decision. The man who built Apple and breathed life into its products was now cast out. Imagine that feeling. You build a house with all your heart and mind, and then one day you are kicked out of it. For Jobs, it was the ultimate pain. He once shared, "I felt like a castaway. But it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." In the years that followed, Jobs was disoriented. He no longer had a company or a position in the tech industry. For many, that would have been the end of a career. But Jobs did not give up. He decided to start all over again. And that decision changed his life, and the world. After leaving Apple, Jobs founded a new company called Next, which focused on computers for education and business. Next wasn't a commercial hit, but the technology they developed was incredibly advanced. The Next Step platform later became the foundation for macOS, the heart of modern Apple products. At the same time, Jobs bought a small animation studio from Lucasfilm and named it Pixar. Back then, no one thought Pixar would make history. But Jobs saw the potential in 3D animation. He patiently invested and supported the creative team. In 1995, Pixar released Toy Story, the world's first 3D animated feature film. The movie was not only a blockbuster but also ushered in a new era for the film industry. Pixar became a monument of animation, creating a series of masterpieces like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Up. Looking back, this period of perceived failure allowed Jobs to innovate endlessly. He broke free from Apple's shadow to try his hand at new fields, leaving an indelible mark. In the mid-90s, Apple was in crisis. The company was losing money, its products were losing appeal, and it was on the verge of bankruptcy. In this situation, Apple decided to acquire Next for its technology. And that was the opportunity for Steve Jobs to return to his old home in 1997. Back at Apple, Jobs didn't waste time proving his worth. He restructured the company, eliminated unnecessary products, and focused on a few core product lines. More importantly, he brought a new philosophy: think different, dare to think differently, dare to do what no one else has done. The result was a series of revolutionary products: iMac, a colorful, youthful design that changed the boring image of computers; iPod, put a music library in your pocket, starting the digital music era; iTunes, completely changed how people listen to music and the music industry; iPhone, not just a phone, but a pocket computer, camera, and a global connection tool; iPad, opened up the tablet market. Under Jobs' leadership, Apple went from the brink of bankruptcy to become the most valuable company in the world. In 2005, Steve Jobs gave a commencement speech at Stanford University, which is considered one of the most inspirational speeches of the 21st century. In it, he said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." That philosophy reflects his entire life: always curious, always daring to try, daring to fail, and never becoming complacent. Jobs believed that technology and art could merge to create products that touch people's hearts. He also believed that everyone has a limited amount of time, and therefore, we must live for what we love. Although Steve Jobs passed away in 2011, his legacy lives on. Apple, with billions of users worldwide. Pixar, with its classic animated films. And most importantly, the spirit of daring to think differently and living with passion. The Steve Jobs story is a journey from a small garage to the world's peak, from a painful fall to a spectacular comeback. What made him a legend was not that he never failed, but that he refused to stop at failure. Jobs proved that failure can be a stepping stone, and that perseverance with passion is what leads to an everlasting success. For each of us, the lesson is clear: if you are falling today, remember that Steve Jobs also fell, and that very fall made him a legend. If you are feeling lost, believe that you might be on the verge of a rebirth. And always remember his words: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life.
Thank you to everyone for taking the time to watch this video. I wish you all good health, happiness, and every success in life. To give our channel more motivation to grow and bring you more meaningful messages, we truly hope to receive your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you find the content helpful. All of your feedback is incredibly valuable, so please leave your comments below. We will listen and strive to improve every day. Thank you very much.